Now, so as part of the BPC demo, we are trying to understand BPC is one of the SAP product, and we had seen the positioning of the BPC in the SAP product matrix. So what is the positioning of that? So here SAP, and within this SAP there will be a analytics. Within the analytics, so it is coming under EPM. Within the EPM we are going to have the BPC. In other way I can say this is the positioning of BPC, meaning BPC is one of the EPM product, EPM is part of analytics, analytics is part of SAP. Now, and we know the fact that BPC is a product which is always available in two different flavors, one with the BPC Microsoft, another one with the BPC NetWeaver. So BPC Microsoft, next one is the BPC NetWeaver. When I say BPC Microsoft, here the backend will be the SQL is the backend, whereas in the BPC NetWeaver, BW will be the backend, and all. More or less both are going to give the similar kind of services, meaning what services it is going to give and all I am going to explain you. Now if you go with either BPC Microsoft or NetWeaver, you will get there are four kinds of services. First one is a planning, next one is a budgeting, next one is the forecasting, and next one is the consolidation. So this is the positioning of BPC in the SAP product matrix. These are the different flavors available in the BPC, and these are the services going to be offered by either BPC Microsoft or BPC NetWeaver. And as part of the demo, we made one more statement that though BPC Microsoft and BPC NetWeaver are trying to give the similar set of services, it is highly recommended to go with the BPC NetWeaver rather than the BPC Microsoft, because in the BPC NetWeaver, BPC is the front end, BW is the back end. In other way I can say front end and back end both are the SAP products. When you are using the multiple products from the same technology, then they have a proper integration and they have a proper synchronization, they have a proper communication. So the final conclusion is, so within the BPC Microsoft and NetWeaver, this is highly recommended rather than BPC Microsoft. Now we'll try to have a basic understanding of what exactly the meaning for planning, budgeting, forecasting and consolidation right now. So today's session will be planning terminology. So terminology is nothing but specific to one business area. There will be some keywords business will be using very frequently. So when I say BPC is for planning and consolidation, planning point of view, there are a couple of keywords they are going to use. To have the better understanding, we are going to have a high level discussion on those keywords. planning terminology. So here we will be discussing now. First one is a forecasting. Generally, forecast is nothing but if you are doing any estimations, meaning it's a process of doing the estimations. Weather forecast is nothing but what, only tomorrow's weather will be like that. Nobody have seen what is going to happen tomorrow, but based on some set of parameters they are predicting the weather for future. Here forecasting is nothing but it's a process of doing the estimation. But if you do the estimation for the current year, that is coming under forecasting, right? So forecasting is nothing but current year estimations. Now next one is planning. So planning is also part of estimation only, but if you do the estimations for next year, that is nothing but a next year estimations are nothing but the planning. Next one is strategic planning. So strategic planning is also one kind of estimation, but if you do for longer years, meaning long-term planning will be considered as a strategic planning and all. If you observe the first these three keywords, forecasting, planning and strategic planning, all are part of the estimations only with respect to the time, meaning if you do for current year, that is nothing but a forecasted figures, next year nothing but a planning, and longer year there is nothing but a strategic planning and all. Now we are going with the rolling forecast. To have the understanding on this, we are going to take one example. From there we will try to derive what exactly the meaning for rolling forecast. Now, first try to take an example, try to understand, and later we will derive it. Let's assume that you are in the month of 2016-01, meaning you are in the month of January. You are predicting the product A sales. Product A sales for the next quarter, that is a 2016-04, 2016-05 and 2016-06. All these are coming under 2006 second quarter and all, right? Now so here what is the situation we are considering? We are assuming that we are in the month of 2016 January. When we are in the 2016 January, we are predicting the product A sales for the second quarter of 2016. Now let's assume that Here they estimated 100. What exactly the meaning for 100? So in 2016-04 they are predicting product A sales will be 100 pieces. Here I am going to take 80 and here I am going to take 140. So what is the thing they are doing here? So total estimation or the target they are setting for second quarter is nothing but sum of all these things, that is nothing but a 320. So 320 is the target. So these are the figures they estimated when they are in the month of January 2016. Now let's assume that now they are in the month of May 2016-05. When they are in the month of May, obviously, so April was finished successfully, meaning there was some business happened. There will be some actual figures. There will be some facts in the April month. Let's assume that they could able to sell only 90 pieces. But what is their targeted figure? 100. But they could able to meet only 90 pieces. But the management clearly said like, we don't know what you are going to do, what kind of strategy you or your team is going to follow, but make sure that by end of this quarter I want to see product A sales will be 320. How they can meet this one? So they have to fulfill this and they have to fulfill this. They are going to add some more, whatever is the balance amount here. So first what they are doing, they are doing a review between estimated value with the actual value. So there is a difference, so that difference is nothing but a equals to this minus this. So 10 is the difference, so this 10 equals to, each portion will be coming as a, we have 2 months, so I am going to put it as this one. So each month they are going to carry forward the, or they are going to add plus 5 and all, right? Now let me try to put, so this 5 will get added here and let me try to, and even here also plus 5 will get added, so that the target will be met by end of the 2016 Q2. Now we need to observe what exactly we did here and all. Now let's see here. As part of the rolling forecast, so I'll try to put, okay, as part of the rolling forecast, first they are doing the review between estimated value with the actual value. If there is any difference, then they are equally carry forwarding to the next periods in order to meet the target. Now let me try to go with, fine. And also one more thing, fine. So simply I can say here they are doing two activities. One is a review and another one is the adjustment. Yeah. Team, could you please keep in mute? Yeah, Guru, could you please keep in mute? Now, so rolling forecast is nothing but it's a process of doing a review between estimated value with the actual value and doing the adjustment, right? In other way I can say revising the forecast values based on the actuals. This is nothing but a rolling forecast, revising the forecast values based on the actuals. So if it is a 70, they could have added 15 and 15. If it is a 50, 25, 25. If it is 60, 20 and 20, they could have added. So rolling forecast, keep changing the forecast value with respect to the actuals. That is nothing but a rolling forecast, right? So this is the regular activity each and every organization will be following, meaning first they will predict something, and every month after the finishing of every month they will try to keep track of where we are. So our planning team is estimating closer to the reality or not. If there is any variance, what is the reason why it got a lot of variance and all, how we can nullify that or how we can minimize this, right? So this is what the rolling forecast, revising the forecast values based on the actuals, right? Now next one is a budgeting. So fifth one is a budgeting. Now, in order to understand this budgeting, let's have one example and then later we will derive the definition. Let's assume that you have a India-based organization where you have the business across multiple cities. Delhi. Delhi is the country level head office, and you have the business in South region head office is in Chennai, and North region head office is in Noida. Within the South region, they have the operations in Hyderabad and they have the operations in Bangalore. Within the North region, they have the operations in Mumbai and Calcutta. So simply what we are trying to say, this is the organizational structure they are taking. This is the organizational structure they are taking and all. Now, let's assume that we are in the month of 2015 December, meaning we are closing off the 2015 year. So the management requested the planning team, since we are closing off the 2015 year, please come up with the rough estimation which is needed to run our business for the next year, right? Now planning team, what they will do, they will start dealing with the estimations. Now let's assume that first they will take the organizational structure where they will try to understand. First, they will start doing the estimations right from the lowest layer of the organization as part of this. So let's assume that they had given 7,000 is here. What is the seventh? On what basis they will do the estimation and all? There will be set of parameters like what are the previous year expenses at Hyderabad location, how the market trend is going on with respect to the current year, and also does the management is having any expansion plans for the next year in Hyderabad. Like that, there will be a set of parameters they are going to check, and based on that checklist they are going to give the estimations. Here 7,000 is nothing but, in order to run the operations at Hyderabad location, 7,000 INR is needed. Next one is a Bangalore. Let's assume that Bangalore point of view they had given the estimated value as this one, and Mumbai point of view 10,000, this point of view 15,000 and all. Now, so they are done with the lowest layer of the organization. Now they will go for the next level. We know the fact that Chennai is the head office at south level. So within this we are having a two branches. When I am estimating at Chennai, nothing but sum of this plus this and location specific expenses in order to maintain our head office in Chennai. So I'm going to take 6 more thousand as a location specific expenses. So 6,000 plus 7,000 plus 12,000. This is coming under 25,000. So here also I am going to take 10 plus 10 and another 10 I am taking, totally 35,000 and all, right now. So second layer of the organization is also done. Now what is the next thing? Topmost level. This is nothing but this plus this and location specific expenses. I am taking 15,000 as a location specific expenses at Delhi. So 15 plus 25 plus 35, nothing but a 75,000. Now, what the planning team did, they started dealing with the estimation right from lowest layer and reaches all the way to the topmost layer. So here I can say one thing, that they started from this level, number one. Next one is this. Next level is this one. So this kind of thing is nothing but the this kind of approach is nothing but the bottom up planning. Bottom up planning is nothing but it's a process of doing the estimation right from lowest layer and reaches all the way to the topmost layer, is nothing but the bottom up planning. Bottom up planning and all. Now so here, what is the planning team conveying the message to the management? Boss, in order to run our business for next year, 75,000 INR is needed. Now, though the planning team followed the systematic procedure and all, this time management will call the budgeting team, because budgeting team is the one who are going to the decision makers, right? Let's assume that budgeting team has came and they said like, boss, it is not possible to allocate 75,000, so hardly we could able to allocate 65,000. Now let's see here. So they are allocating 65,000. When the allocated amount is deviated from the planned value or estimated value, obviously you have to adjust across all the organization structure level, right? Now let me try to adjust the things. Now here let's say 23,000. Now here they are putting it as a 31,000. Now here they are taking it as a 6,000. Next here it is a 11,000. Next 9,000. It is a 13,000 and all. Now so budgeting team traveled exactly in a reverse direction, meaning they started at the topmost layer, they reaches all the way to the lowest level. This kind of thing is nothing but a top down budgeting. So here this is nothing but the top down budgeting and all. Here I am going to put this as a top down budgeting. You take any organization, bottom up planning and top down budgeting are the mandatory, or this is the recommended way. Always within the planning and budgeting, you have to first deal with the planning and then you will be dealing with the budgeting part and all, right? Now this is what the thing. Top down budgeting and all. Now try to give the definition for budgeting. By taking this block itself, we can give the definition for budgeting. Budgeting is nothing but actual fund in your hand to allocate for the business operations is nothing but the budgeting. So here I am going with actual fund in your hand to allocate for the business operations is nothing but the budgeting, right? So simply I can say forecasting, next one is a planning, next one is a strategic planning, next one is a rolling forecast, and next one is the budgeting. So budgeting is nothing but actual fund in your hand to allocate for the business operation. Always budget speaks about the facts or the feasibility only, right? Now let's recap on what we discussed. So as part of the planning terminology, we are trying to understand couple of keywords: forecasting, nothing but current year estimations, and planning is nothing but next year estimation. Strategic is nothing but long term planning. Current year estimations, next year and for longer years. Rolling forecast is nothing but it's a process of review and adjustment is nothing but the rolling forecast. Let me try to keep this one. Review, and this is the adjustment. Or in other way, we had given a definition that revising the forecast values based on the revising the forecast values based on the actuals. Budgeting is nothing but actual fund in your hand to allocate for business operations. As part of budgeting, we are trying to understand what is bottom up planning and what is top down budgeting, and we are making one statement that for any organization, planning and budgeting are very regular activities, and within those two activities, first the planning will be happen right from lowest layer to the topmost layer, and budgeting will happen in a reverse direction. This is the standard way to deal with planning and budgeting, right? So this is what the thing. Apart from these things, we made one more statement that BPC is offering planning, budgeting, forecasting, and also consolidation. Now we will try to understand what exactly the meaning for consolidation. Come here. Now consolidation. Next one is a consolidation. Consolidation is very important. Now let's try to have a basic understanding of what exactly the meaning for consolidation. Let's take one organizational structure. So here I am taking now, let's assume that C0 is one company code or entity, and here you are having a C1 and C2 are the two different entities. Now similarly here you are having a C3 and C4. Please focus on this. This is a bit important. Now, so this is your organizational structure, meaning I have a business across multiple countries. For that I had taken 5 entities, one for each country. Let's assume that C0 is available in India location, and C1 is located in US, and C2 is located in Canada, and C3 is located in Dubai, and C4 is located in Kuwait. Now let me try to take This is the thing. And now only for this one, when I'm running an organization in India, so the currency will be INR, and here the currency will be USD, and here the currency will be Canadian dollar, and here it would be AED, and here it would be KWD. Let me try to take, so this is similarly this thing. Now this is what the thing, C0 is located in India and its currency is INR. Similarly C1, C2, C3 and C4. Now let's assume that the global group of my organization is the CG1 is the global group, and C1 and C2 are part of the CG2, and C3 and C4 are part of the CG3. CG1, CG is nothing but consolidation group, that's the meaning for CG3. Now I am going to take CG1 and CG2, and this is a CG3. Now CG1 contains what only? C0, CG2, CG3. CG2 contains C1 and C2, CG3 contains C3 and C4. Now let me try to take insert. It's the one thing. Similarly, so before going to give the definition for consolidation, first we need to have a basic understanding of the organizational structure. So that's the reason I am taking this. Fine. Now here, so being a owner of the company, so generally in the realistic thing, so what will happen when I have the company in India? Obviously all the day-to-day transactions will be recorded in INR. US, all the things will be maintained in the USD and all. But being a owner of the company, I want to do the analysis at a group level. If I want to do the analysis at a group level, frankly speaking, nobody is recording any transactional data at a group level and all. But I want to know what is my company performance at the US region, or the Middle East region, or at the global level. Whenever I want at a group level, what I am supposed to consider, for example, if I want at CG2 level, obviously I have to take the my company's performance at C1 as well as at the C2. I have to combine them together and showcase in a single flavor and all. Right? Now let's assume that if I want a balance sheet of at the CG2 level, I have to consider balance sheet of C1 and also balance sheet of C2. Finally, I have to consolidate and showcase as a final balance sheet at a group level, right? Similarly, if I wanted a profit and loss, again I have to take the P&L statement from C1 and P&L statement from C2 and all. So in other way I can say consolidation is nothing but combining n similar financial statements into one financial statement at a group level is nothing but the consolidation. I am trying to repeat, combining n similar financial statements of the individual entities into one financial statement at the group level is nothing but the consolidation. So consolidation is generally happened whenever you want to know your company performance at a specific group level of an organization, right? Now this is what the thing and all. Now here we used one word called financial statement. Financial statement is nothing but a statement which is going to indicate your company's position. So what could be the financial statement? It can be a balance sheet, it can be a profit and loss, it can be a cash flow statements and all, right? And now, so first let me try to give the definition for consolidation. Combining n similar financial statements into one financial statement at group level. Here I used one word called similar. First let me try to highlight this one. So combining n similar financial statements into n similar financial statements into one statement at group level. So here, what is the sentence I am using here? I am using n similar financial statement. What exactly the meaning for that? And so if I want a balance sheet here, I have to take the balance sheet from all the individual entities, not the profit and loss or something. If I want a P&L, I have to take only the P&L for C1 and C2. If I want a cash flow, take the cash flow from C1 and C2 and finally get the consolidated statement, right? So here financial statement can be a, now I am going to put financial statement can be balance sheet, I'll put in this way, balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow, right? And so these are the things we'll be basically considering them as a financial statement, a statement which is going to indicate your company's position, right? Now this is what the thing. So here today we are trying to understand couple of things. What is the positioning of BPC? What are the different flavors available in BPC, and what services BPC is offering, right? In order to have a better understanding on the services, we went with the planning terminology, where we are trying to understand forecasting, planning, strategic planning, rolling forecast, and also budgeting, and finally we have seen the consolidation. So forecasting is nothing but current year estimation, planning is for next year, strategic is for longer years, rolling forecast is nothing but revising the forecast values based on the actuals, and budgeting is nothing but actual fund in your hand to allocate for the business operations is nothing but the budgeting. So as part of this, generally every organization will do bottom up planning and then top down budgeting. Always planning has to be done first and budgeting will be done next. So finally we had given a definition for consolidation. Consolidation is nothing but combining n similar financial statements into one financial statement at a organizational level or at a group level is nothing but the consolidation. Right now, this is what the thing. And similar to the planning terminology, we have a BPC terminology, which is going to be very important one. So if you understood that tomorrow's session, 50% of BPC will feel more and more comfortable, because entire BPC core elements we are going to discuss in the tomorrow's session, that is in BPC terminology, where I am going to list out what are the core components available in BPC, what is the definition for each and every core component, and how they are interlinked with each other. And if possible, if we have a time and all, we will see the golden rules in BPC. So this is what the thing for today. Now if you have any questions or concerns, please do let me know so that I'll try to clarify it. Yeah, team. Yeah, sure, Guru. I will do that. Sure, I'll do that. Generally, after finishing the session and all, it may take a couple of hours. Then I'll share. I'll try to share on the same day. Fine then. So, any questions or concerns from Purna or Suresh?
No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, fine. Fine then. So tomorrow we'll meet at the same time, same meeting request we are going to use it, right? So I'm ending up the meeting by assuming that no concerns in the today's session, right? Tomorrow we'll meet then. So have a nice day or good night, Suresh. Yeah, fine then. Okay.